Here's your wrestling news for August 18th, 2022, and we're starting off today with AEW, as last night's House of the Dragon special edition of Dynamite was kicked off by CM Punk. It was a week ago that Punk returned to AEW TV, taking out the Jericho Appreciation Society and coming face-to-face with interim AEW World Champion Jon Moxley. After challenging Hangman Page to a Double or Nothing rematch, an offer that went unanswered by the Cowboy, Punk turned his attention towards Moxley, poking fun at the latter's previous stint in WWE. The AEW World Champion also confirmed that he will make his in-ring return at September 4th's All Out, where he and Moxley will unify the two AEW World titles in Punk's hometown of Chicago, Illinois. Referencing his own WWE past, Punk said it wouldn't be the first time he'll beat a Jon in Chicago, a nod to his WWE title win over John Cena at Money in the Bank 2011. Later in the show, the match was officially announced to take place not at All Out, but next week on Dynamite. In a social media post, AEW confirmed that the winner will be known as the AEW Undisputed World Champion. Some have argued, however, that AEW is leaving money on the table and are fast-tracking this match rather than giving it a sufficient amount of build. It's the same thing that happened with Goldberg and Hollywood Hulk Hogan back in the day, which saw WCW ultimately lose out on a lot of money by rushing the high-profile match too soon. Others have questioned that this match could lead to the long-awaited return of MJF, who hasn't appeared for AEW since the June 1st Dynamite. On that show, the Salt of the Earth cut his scathing work-shoot promo about AEW, culminating in him begging Tony Khan to fire him. Prior to his disappearance, MJF was confronted by Punk in an off-air moment, which many believe was done to set up a future feud for the AEW World title, which could be immediately after this current program between Punk and Jon Moxley. Whatever the case, the segment this week ended with a brawl between Punk and Moxley as security tried to pull them apart, and we'll have to wait and see who leaves Cleveland as champion. AEW also saw Bryan Danielson and Daniel Garcia look to settle things with a 2 out of 3 falls match, but it was what happened after the match that has had fans talking. After beating Danielson in the Superstars' first match back from injury, Garcia was confident going into the match, and the self-professed Dragon Slayer did get the first fall, making Bryan pass out in a Dragon Sleeper. Garcia would try and use the move several times, but Danielson would counter, scoring the second fall and eventually getting the win, before locking in the LeBell Lock and winning the whole match via referee stoppage. After the bell, Danielson encouraged the crowd to show respect to Garcia, but before the two could shake hands, Chris Jericho blindsided the former WWE World Champion. Garcia took exception to Jericho's interference and pulled Y2J off for a shocking standoff, and the segment ended with the Dragon Slayer standing conflicted over Danielson. Garcia doesn't know whether to follow his JAS leader or the man who had invited him into the Blackpool Combat Club, but he'll have to make a tough decision, and soon. More from AEW, as arguably the biggest part of the show was the return of Kenny Omega in his first appearance since Full Gear 2021. The Cleaner was unveiled as the Young Bucks partner for the Trios title tournament after Adam Cole and Red Dragon turned on them, ending the Undisputed Elite faction. After Hangman Page came to the Bucks' rescue during that attack, it looked like he would be their third member, but the Cowboy quickly made it clear that he did not want part of their group and will instead be in the corner of the Dark Order. This left the Bucks without a partner for last night's clash with La Facción Ingobernables, and fans were ecstatic to see Omega not only return, but align with the Jackson brothers. The trio have to be considered early favorites to win the AEW Trios titles tournament in what would be another history-making win for all three men. Over to WWE next, as Vince McMahon is alleged to have paid millions of dollars to former employees who it is reported he had physical relationships with. These alleged payments were first covered by the Wall Street Journal, who have now revealed more about the ex-chairman's spending habits. The Journal reports that McMahon paid a total of $5 million to former President Donald Trump's Donald J. Trump Foundation between 2007 and 2009, and that these payments were not recorded as company expenses as they should have been. It is worth mentioning that the additional sums are said to be connected to Trump and not part of McMahon's series of alleged hush money payments to female talent. The investigation into McMahon is reported to have cost WWE $10 million, and it is also said to be substantially completed, and it'll be interesting to see what the future holds for the former chairman of the board. With McMahon gone, WWE has undergone a lot of changes, with Triple H rising to power as both head of creative and head of talent relations. In 2014, Kevin Steen joined WWE as Kevin Owens and worked with Triple H in NXT, and is thrilled to be working with the game again. While speaking with the TWC show, Owens spoke about Triple H's role backstage, saying, "Getting to work with Triple H again is really exciting because he's obviously the reason I'm here and the reason I got my opportunity in WWE, my chance to go try out and eventually get signed and everything. When I first started out, I was in NXT for a few months and I got to work directly with him, and it was so enlightening. I've been blessed to work with a lot of people that have tremendous minds for this industry." It was just 2 months into his NXT run that Owens became NXT champion, and in 2016, Triple H played a vital on-screen role in Owens becoming the second ever Universal Champion. It's been over 5 years since Owens last held a world title in WWE, but with Triple H running things backstage, that dry streak may be set to end very soon. Since AEW launched in 2019, Tony Khan has been running things behind the scenes in various roles and has succeeded in creating an incredibly popular wrestling organization. Today, AEW is the favorite promotion of countless wrestling fans, but Khan made a slightly bizarre claim this week. Speaking on Busted Open Radio, the AEW president claimed he's been told by fans that he's similar to Paul Heyman, the well-respected creative genius behind ECW. "The person I have people come up to me and say, as far as being a fan and who was around pro wrestling and wrestlers for a long time and then jumped into the business, the person I think I get compared to most often of, you remind me of this person. I think we're really different people and I haven't talked to him or gotten to see him in a really long time is Paul Heyman, not the other Paul Levesque." Khan added that he grew up watching the original ECW and said that while he doesn't claim to be the genius Heyman is, it means a lot of fans consider AEW to be the hot product that ECW was in its heyday. Tony Khan is no stranger to making comments that don't go down well with fans, but the AEW president is pretty pleased to be compared to the special counsel of Roman Reigns. And we're ending today with Will Osprey, who's had a string of bad luck as of late. After capturing the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship at New Japan's Sakura Genesis event last year, he was forced to vacate the gold due to a neck injury. Earlier this year, Osprey was out of action due to a kidney infection and had to miss shows for Revolution Pro Wrestling and Warrior Wrestling, and this infection nearly cost him his life. On Twitter, Osprey explained that he nearly died because the infection was that serious, but instead he came back in just 2 weeks. The aerial assassin is set to face off against Kazuchika Okada in the finals of the G1 Climax 32, which will happen today. Osprey has already won a championship since returning from his neck injury and hopes to win big on New Japan's 50th anniversary, despite nearly dying just a few months ago. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.